Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 5A of our 2026 CSA season. Please make sure you're receiving the email that is sent on Mondays. Yesterday's came through, I think it was right around 1 o'clock. If it didn't come to your inbox, check your junk email. For every now and then, mine goes to my junk email, so I find it there. Take a look at that. It gives us all the details we need. Any special events coming up are in there. There's a Blooming Glen Farm party this summer, so that information is in there. There's also a couple other special events that you're going to want to look at. It also gives us what's in the share this week, links to recipes, and information about each add-on. So lots of important information in that email. It also helps me plan my meals for the week. So I usually Monday afternoon, once that email comes out, kind of look at what I'm getting and start planning from there before I go grocery shopping. So good information that comes out on Monday. Jumping right into this week's share, a lot of delicious goodies. We have romaine lettuce. Romaine is stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag. Once you're ready to use it, it's typically used as a base for salads. You can chop it up and use it on tacos, on burgers, on sandwiches. There's a grilled romaine recipe. That might have been last week's recipe. The weeks kind of jumble together once I get into the season. But there's definitely a grilled romaine recipe on the website. Take a look at that if you haven't used it yet. You could do a salad board. So we're starting to get some other vegetables that would make a really good salad board. So take a look at that. That's in the hub as a PDF. There may have been, a couple of years ago, there may have been a whole description in our recipes on creating salad boards, so you can look there as well. But usually based as a salad base, and you can just lightly dress the romaine and serve it as a side, or add additional stuff to it and eat it like that. It's also fantastic with a grilled protein. So you could do like a grilled Caesar salad. You can dress it all different ways, use a store-bought dressing or make your own vinaigrette or other dressings. So lots of ways to eat the romaine. We have parsley this week. Parsley we're gonna store in a glass jar in the fridge. That's how I like to store it, in water. But it's unlike our basil, which likes to be room temperature, parsley does like to be cooler. So we're gonna store it in the fridge. If the glass jar is a little bit tricky for you in the fridge, then store it in a Debbie Meyer green bag. It will also store there. I just find it lasts better when it's in water. Parsley is great. It's actually wonderful in smoothies. It's really good. Health-wise, has a lot of health benefits. So adding a handful to smoothies is really awesome. It's great for garnishes, great for dressings, great for marinades. I'm pretty sure I might use a little bit of this in this week's recipe. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. What else is parsley good for? Chimichurris, sauces and marinades. But this will last, so just store it like I mentioned. One of my favorite things that we get in the spring is garlic scapes. Garlic scapes just get stored. I know they're really funky, but you can put them in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag, store them in the fridge. They will last. They are basically a light garlic flavor. You can actually take the entire scape and use the entire thing. I usually just cut off this top part and then the rest of it chop up. You can use it in sauces and marinades, dressings. You can take the entire scape and just lightly brush it in oil and grill it, and that's an amazing side because it looks super funky. So just for like if you're grilling steak or you're grilling chicken, and then you throw a grilled scape on the grill with it, and then serve that, it kind of adds some funkiness to your meal. I like doing that every now and then. But basically a light garlic flavor. So anywhere you're gonna use garlic, you can use garlic scapes. It's just gonna be a lighter, not as much as a clove, not as strong as a clove. You can pickle garlic scapes. You can just chop them up and do them, like there's a lot of vegetables that would work in a stir fry this week, so you could use these in a stir fry also. We have red onions. Red onions are stored just like this. They are uncured. So see how they're nice and shiny on the outside, no papery covering. We want to store these in the fridge. So put them in a Debbie Meyer green bag, store them in the fridge until you're ready to use them. Once you're ready to use them, the entire thing can be used. So these are more like a scallion, the tops. Chop them up, use them to enhance your oniony flavor. Great in stir fries, great in dressings, great on salads. Your bottoms, you can eat raw, you can slice them and add them to salads. I like to do that because it adds some nice color. We are having like a tomato, basil, mozzarella salad tonight with dinner, and I'm adding some of the red onion to that. We're also having a cucumber salad, which I will use the red onion for. So 2 salads along with some grilled burgers. But stored like this in the fridge. Anytime a recipe calls for onion, you can use these red onions. The only difference is they're not cured, so we're not going to store them in a cool, dry place because they don't have that papery covering, but they're a nice treat in the spring. They're great for salsas. They're great for like a guac. Lots of ways to use onions. You shouldn't have any trouble there. And there is a recipe for a cucumber salad on the website, so that would work for the cucumber salad as well, because we did receive cucumbers this week. So cucumbers are stored in the crisper drawer of the fridge. Just leave them like this. Once you're ready to use them, you can either peel them and slice them, or you can leave the skin on, just wash it, slice it up. Sometimes I like leaving the skin because then you have the darker green versus the light green inside. We often just slice it up, add it to salads. Like I said, we're gonna do a cucumber salad for dinner tonight. It's great if you just do like cucumber and tomato salad. So don't always think a salad has to contain lettuce, although we do get a lot of lettuce. Great just sliced as a snack with a little bit of sea salt on it. You could make basil salt. That recipe's been posted on the website. Also, I know it's been posted in our Facebook group, so that if you still have basil from previous weeks, that's great on our fresh cut veggies. But great to take with you to lunch, or if anyone's leaving the house for lunches packed. So that's cucumbers. We have summer squash. Summer squash is stored just like this in the fridge, in your crisper drawer. Once you're ready to use it, just wash it. You can eat summer squash raw, just like you would a cucumber, slightly different flavor. You can put it on like dips and like if you did a fresh veggie platter, certainly add your squash to that. Great in stir fries, great grilled. So when I grill it, I slice it long ways and then it sits nice on the grill. What else? Stir fries. You can just simple saute it or roast it as well. So it can be eaten raw or cooked. We, surprise, got to pick a pint of sugar snap peas. Super easy picking. Remember that you are picking the fat pods. So nice and fat. That's because the peas on the inside have grown nice. These are gonna be what you want, not the flat ones. The flat ones still aren't fully developed. So fat, not flat. That's what we're picking. These get stored right in the fridge. I can leave them just like this. They don't need to be covered in the fridge. You can throw them in a Ziploc bag. Also store them in the, you can store them in the crisper drawer. These typically don't last very long. We will just wash them up and serve them raw most of the time. But I'm pretty sure I am adding these to this week's recipe. Also good in stir fries, just sauteed quickly as a side. So lots of ways to use them. We have broccoli again. Broccoli is stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag. Once you're ready to use it, fill your sink with water and a little bit of salt, or a large bowl with water and a little bit of salt. Swish it around, get that salt into the water, and then put this upside down in the water. Swish it around, get it nice and clean. Because of the way broccoli grows, there can be a lot of stuff in it. Last time I did that, it got nice and clean. Chopped it up and just simply steamed it. You can blanch it and then chop it up and use it in a salad. You can eat it raw. This will definitely be showcased in this week's recipe, so stay tuned for that on Thursday. But sauteed, roasted, steamed, or eaten raw. We have fennel this week. So fennel is stored in, I use a really large Debbie Meyer green bag to hold it all, or you can chop off the bottom, the white part, chop off the white part, store that in one bag and store the tops in the separate bag, but you don't have to do that. You can store it just like this. The tops, the fronds, are really good flavoring for like if you do a sun tea. There is a fennel sun tea recipe on the website. So that's fun if you would like. We've got nice and warm, sunny weather, so you could make that. It gives it a black licoricey side notes to the sun tea. The bottoms, you can lightly shave it and use it as on top of a salad. It's often like kind of showcased in a salad, so not on top of lettuce, but using that with some other veggies as the main part. You can grill it. It's really good grilled. So I typically clean it up, slice it in half, and lay it on the grill, get it nice and caramelized. You can chop it up and caramelize it on the stovetop. What else? The tops can be incorporated as well. So you can just use those raw in salads, or use the fronds on top of a salad, use them in dressings, or you could grill those, saute those, roast those. So anything works. Last but not least, we have a large head of escarole. So the difference between the escaroles, it's usually tends to be a little bit greener, and the bottom is white. So this is our escarole. You can also taste it if you're not sure. Sometimes people mix up the romaine, which is this, and the escarole. So see the difference. The escarole, really good with escarole and beans, really good in soups, just a simple saute, like a sauteed green recipe. But my favorite way to use it, wasn't the biggest fan for years and years and years. And then I created an escarole salad. I believe it has dates and apples in it. It is fantastic. It's using the escarole raw. The dressing and everything that works really well together. That is on our website. So if you're not the biggest fan of escarole, please try that recipe. It's really good. Otherwise, you can saute it. You can throw it into a soup. And if you're not big on soups now, make your soup, freeze it, and then you have soups for the winter. So that's our escarole, and that is stored in a large Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge until you're ready to use it, and then wash it and dry it off and use it either raw or cooked. That is it for this week. We did get to pick herbs as well. So if you picked any of your herbs, they are typically stored in either a Ziploc bag or an herb saver in your fridge. And just make sure like you kind of navigate those herb gardens, only pick a small bundle and have a use for them. Last week I picked mint and did the mint strawberry chia pudding with that, and I still have some mint left over. That is it for this week. Take a look at what you have left from last week, make note of that, and kind of get an idea of how you're going to use those items. And this week, you have some new variety of produce, so have fun with that. If you have any recipes that you are loving, that work really well, new things that you've tried, make sure you share those on Facebook so everyone else can enjoy them as well. And I will see you guys all again next Tuesday.